We will go ahead and kick this off here in a moment. I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. It's a frigid night out here in New York, so make sure you have your hat and gloves on for tonight's stream. We'll get started shortly. All right, it looks like we're good. So good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Walks and Wall Street. Today is December 21st. It is a Thursday. It is 2023, but not for long. It's almost the end of the year. It's about 9:13 p.m. Eastern Time here live from New York City. We're reporting live from Billionaires Row, 56th Street, 57th Street, and Madison Avenue. What do you guys think about the Christmas music to sort of play us in here? I was feeling a little bit festive today. I wanted to change some things up, so I thought I'd throw on the good old Christmas jazz. Thumbs up or thumbs down on that? What do you guys think? Anyway. All right, a couple things to talk about. Let me go ahead and... I don't know why I don't have my computer set up yet. I had to do one of those software updates so it logs you out of your accounts, which is a little bit of a bummer. Let's do this. All right, we're good. Okay, so a little bit of rebound action today on Wall Street. The S&P 500 was up about 48 points. We're up about 1%. If you look at the DJI, or the Dow Jones Industrial Average, we were up about 322 points, or just under 1%. We closed the day at 37,404. And then last but not least, the NASDAQ 100, ticker symbol NQ, we'll look at the futures. We're trading about 46 points in the red right now, trading at about 16,910. Now, Santa Claus really came to town, and I think his first stop was Wall Street. We have all-time record highs for the Dow, all-time record highs for the NASDAQ 100, and the S&P 500 is not too far behind. But over the last couple days, we've had a lot of profit taking, right? A lot of the hedge fund managers and PMs on Wall Street have ran this market into the highs, and now they're sort of taking those profits to secure, the very lucrative year-end bonuses, let's just say. But beside from equities, I think what's most important to talk about and focus in on right now is the bond market, right? Just look at the bond market action over the last 60 days, right? In the last 60 days alone, we've had a pretty massive and substantial snapback rally in this bond market. And obviously the mechanics of the bond market is, as bond prices get bid higher, you do have yields coming down. So if you look at the US 10-year Treasury yield, okay, and you go all the way back just about 60 days ago, just about 2 months ago, 10-year Treasury yield was over 5%. It's kind of wild. Now we are trading below 4% on the US 10-year. 3.889% on the US 10-year. Now this comes as Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell decided to hold interest rates steady, or the Fed funds rate unchanged at 5.25% to 5.5%. The market is starting to price in interest rate cuts for 2024. That's put a lot of downward pressure on the 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Just 2 months ago, we were talking about 8.5% average 30-year fixed. Now we're down to 6.67%. And that has spurred a little bit of an uptick in mortgage applications, particularly in the new build sector. Not too much, but it has spurred something. So we'll keep our eyes on the bond market. Potentially, you know, it's funny, I was reading a lot of stories last year, right around this time, that was saying how the traditional 60-40 portfolio has really underperformed. And I sort of made a joke that, you know, since everybody's calling for the 60-40 to underperform, it's probably going to go back to normal and maybe even outperform. And over the past 60 days, I mean, bonds have really been off to the races here. So is this the end of the tightening cycle? Are rates going to come down in 2024? Is quantitative tightening in the rearview mirror? I don't know. We'll talk about that and more tonight on Walks on Wall Street. But first, a couple quick announcements. Everybody, go ahead and check your emails. Okay, just about 30 minutes ago, I sent out the last equity research piece for the year. So the last Behind the Street newsletter for 2023 was just sent out to everybody. We talk about a lot of things. We talk about some thematic ideas for 2024. We talk about small caps, the Russell 2000. We also do a little bit of a deep dive into money market funds and how that could be a potential catalyst for the market going forward. And we go through some idea generation. Now, we ended off the newsletter with a little bit of fun, okay? Now, our team here at the Kirsten Jordan team at Douglas Elliman, we just secured a pretty big deal here. We are now the lead team to lead up sales on 435 West 19th Street, the brand new development near the near the High Line in Chelsea. And we just listed Penthouse 2. 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, 1,900 square feet of interior space, and 742 square feet of private exterior outdoor space. So if you want to watch the full property tour of our new penthouse listing at 435 West 19th Street, go ahead and check your email, or you could scan the QR code on your screen, and we will give you a first behind the scenes look. Nobody's ever seen this before. So you guys will be the first here on Walks on Wall Street to see it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close up the laptop here, everybody. I will say hello to everybody in the chat, and we will be on our way for tonight. Thanks for joining. All right, here we are by the Black Fox Coffee. By the way, thank you to the viewer who gave me a very nice and generous gift card to this coffee shop just the other day. I appreciate it, and I promise you it will be put to good use because the office is literally about a block away. Let me make sure I turn off my Wi-Fi, and then we will get started. Hey, Yogi's here, says happy shortest day of the year. Richard Vogel says, good evening, Tom. How are you doing? I'm doing really well. Today was a little bit crazy, a little bit busy at work. Tomorrow is going to be even more insane. So hopefully this weekend, I'll be able to take some time to relax. I see Caitlin is here, Gary Carpenter. Welcome, welcome. Good to see everybody. John Casey says, good evening from New Jersey. Merry Christmas to you and your family. I appreciate that. Merry Christmas to you as well. Vinny says the balcony at 435 is something special. Yeah, I mean, you know, I knew you guys were gonna love this. Now, I think the reason why the penthouse at 435 West 19th Street is so unique is because it's very strategically located. Feel necessarily too far away and detached from the city, but you're also above the building lines where you have unobstructed views of the Hudson Yards, pretty much all of Billionaires Row. you looking directly at the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building. I mean, all of the notable buildings that we talk about each and every night on the stream, from that penthouse you could see it. It's really something special. Now, it has its own private elevator. I don't want to spoil the video too much. You guys can watch that, you know, on your own time, but you know, you have a private elevator that drops you off into this really expansive open concept living room, which is really not even like a living room. It's almost like a grand ballroom at a hotel. And you have these absolutely stunning over 10-foot floor to ceiling glass windows where you could see everything. I mean, talk about exposures, you got it. Hudson Yards, Hudson River, all the way to the Empire State Building, One Vanderbilt. It's just an incredible place. Now, this is the St. Regis Hotel. Looks like we have a lot of traffic here in New York tonight. It's a frigid cold one too. Jody Rock is here, good to see you. NYC Hope says, Tom, what are your thoughts on living bi-coastally? I'd love to spend spring, summer, and parts of the fall in New York City and then head over to Laguna Beach, wow, California in the winter. I am definitely in the mood for that. You know, generally speaking, anytime, any place in the United States that's going to be warm and nice, I'm in, right? If the temperature's warm, I will be there. Maybe we'll take a pit stop in the Trump Tower just because it's going to be a frigid cold night, and we'll try to spend as much time inside as possible. Hey, Colton Manning, good to see you. Welcome, UniJ23. But yeah, I think the state of California is one of the best states in the United States. I mean, perfect weather, and you also have a lot of diversity. Yeah, Mary says it looks windy too. It's ridiculously windy, and I don't have the microphone again, so I apologize for that. So, much apologies. Sam Plays, hey Tom, big fan. I'm a big fan of you too. Town now says I was bi-coastal in college. Very cool. You know, I was talking to a really good friend who lives in California. I won't say exactly where, but it's pretty much year-round. It's 75 degrees, sunny, perfect weather, pretty much every single day of the year. And he's like, the only reason why I don't leave California, he's like, well, he actually said he'll never leave California. He tends to be more on the conservative side for his politics. And he says, no matter how crazy California gets, I'll never leave. He's like, because it is just too perfect of a place. And I get it. I get it. I mean, if it's 75 degrees every day, you know, and not like horrible wind and cold like New York City, I'd probably never leave either. I'd probably pay 80% of my income in taxes if it was like that every day. All right, let's head into the Trump Tower. Whew. Sam says, what's your favorite state? Probably in between New York and Florida. Those are probably my two favorite states. Hey, Juan Fernandez, good to see you. Welcome to the inside of Trump Tower. We're sort of coming in here before it closes to get out of the disgusting wind and the frigid temperatures here in New York. But I like walking in here anyway. They keep it very clean, even though that it kind of looks a little bit dated, right? I think we could all agree on that. They maintain it very well. It's very well maintained. Everything is very clean. It's like spit polished in here. And this is the Trump Grill on the first floor with the Christmas tree. Hey, Lance has received the newsletter. Thank you, Tom. Thank you for reading, Lance. I appreciate it very, very much. Let me know how you like it. I tried to mix it up this week in the newsletter. I know many of our viewers and listeners are not big fans of the whole Bitcoin and cryptocurrency environment, but I thought it was appropriate to include a little bit of a research piece, particularly as it relates to the pending ETF approval in terms of the spot ETF. Now, a lot of people get confused because yes, it's true that there are already Bitcoin ETFs right now, right? But those are the futures ETFs. They're not spot ETFs. And it looks like BlackRock, Larry Fink and his gang are going to get SEC approval to have the first spot Bitcoin ETF. And it's very strategically placed, would you say? Because this is 2024 is going to be the year that we go into the halving. It's going to be the halving event. Richard Vogel says, Tom, are you allowed downstairs? We are. You know, I've tried to go down there on previous live streams, but the internet kind of cuts out a little bit. So I don't want us to buffer too much. But yeah, you're not only allowed to go downstairs, you're also allowed to go upstairs too, where there's the cafe. There's a brand new coffee shop up there, which used to be a Starbucks, by the way. I remember when I would come here as a little kid. I'll show you real quick. On the top floor, this is the second floor, it says Italian Food Zone. This used to be a Starbucks. I think they must have canceled their lease or something like that, but yeah, maybe one night, if we can get here a little bit earlier, I'll take you all the way up to the top of the atrium, but if you see, they close it off with the red sort of rope over there. But it's cool. The views are good, and I think there's even outdoor space too. Ali Star says, hey Tom, would you try the Pappy Van Winkle at $52K a bottle? I definitely would. That's funny. That's a reference to the newsletter. That's so funny. And I got a little bit of inspiration from that, from our conversation yesterday. If anybody was watching the live stream yesterday, we were talking about, for some reason, I don't even know how we got on that topic of bourbon, but we did. And, you know, usually, generally speaking, the older the bourbon, or, you know, let's say if it's age 10 years, age 15 years, age 20 years, the more expensive and the more desirable it is. So I thought it would be appropriate to make an interesting reference to kind of the investment business, right? Because you need to give your stocks time to mature. You need to give your stocks a little bit of time to work for you. You know, if you bought Amazon, you know, in 2003 and you sold it in 30 days when you were up 30%, okay, you made 30%, but Amazon went up to go on thousands of percent, right? So the reference there is you kind of want to be an owner of great businesses. And there's a very famous growth stock mutual fund manager that works just a couple blocks down from me on Park Avenue. His name is Ron Barron. And in the newsletter that I sent out to everybody about 30 minutes ago, I included a link to the keynote speech of the annual address of Barron Funds. And Ron Barron said essentially what he tries to do at his mutual fund, at his investment firm, is number one, identify extreme winners to bet on, which is, you know, extraordinary entrepreneurs, right? You could think about an Elon Musk, a Bill Gates, you know, I would even probably include, you know, even just some classic CEOs, like a Mark Benioff, right, of Salesforce. A Bill McDermott would be a good example right now for ServiceNow software company, because those operators tend to think long term, right? They're not just trying to maximize their paychecks in the interim. They're looking, you know, 10, 20, 30 years down the line to create an incredible product and service. So, moral of the story is, if you really want to make the big money, right, and compound out your wealth, you gotta kind of be in the game for the long term, right, and not listen to all the, you know, the short-term nonsense of, you know, that you kind of see on TikTok of people saying, "Oh, join my Discord because I'm going to give out alerts every day." No real money manager on Wall Street, you know, runs a Discord and sends out alerts, you know, to buy and sell stocks intraday. So, yeah, focus on great businesses that are dealing in a massive total addressable market and an expanding total addressable market. And you want to buy those businesses and you want to own them. Hey, Santa Madres, is okay? I'm asking you guys. St. Augustine, Florida has the best Christmas lights. Well, I was in downtown Miami in Brickell. It was all right. I would say the most beautiful part of South Florida that I've been to during the holidays is Bal Harbour. Bal Harbour is gorgeous during the holidays. Hey, David Sommers. Speaking from places that are gorgeous, we have David Sommers from sunny California. What's going on? Good to see you. Carol Reevy is here. Says good evening, Tom. What's up, Carol? Thank you so much for joining us on this very, very frigid night in New York City. Emmanuel's is the Magnificent Seven. Yeah, those are really good examples, right? Alphabet, Apple, Tesla, Nvidia. Hey, SME Media. Welcome to Fifth Avenue. It's good to see you. Susanna Q4, welcome. Dan Locke, NAV 407 says good evening, Tom. DM, hopefully you're well. Welcome, welcome. Kumar is here again. Thank you for joining us, Kumar. And we got Daryl from Chicago, Illinois. Let's take a pit stop at 53 West 53rd, if this guy doesn't try to knock me off. RPT says happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. SME Media says, Tom, I watched your great video of the 19th Street apartment. Very beautiful. So, SME Media, what do you think you like better? The 75 First Avenue penthouse or the 19th Street one? I think, in terms of location for me, anyway, I think 19th Street's a little bit better. Just because I like being near the High Line. You know, there's a lot of interesting, fun things to do near the High Line. You're in Chelsea, you're near Chelsea Market. The East Village is nice, but I would much rather be in Chelsea. I don't know, what do you think? Do you guys like the East Village better? Or do you like Chelsea near the Chelsea Markets and the High Line? What do you think? I know, SME Media says I like them both. They both have great layouts and great views. Hey, it's PB. Says, hey, Tom and Chad, just received your newsletter. Can't wait to read it. Thank you so much for reading and sharing it. Appreciate it very much. Check the Logic says Merry Christmas from Destin, Florida. So Destin, Florida is where? Is that South Florida? Or is that a little bit further north? Destin sounds familiar. I don't think I've ever been there though. Hey, Ukrainian Royals, Tom, it's 23 degrees here in central New York. Oh my God. You know, I think it may be 23 degrees right now in New York City. But definitely you cannot compare the winters in central New York to the winters we have here in New York City. Central New York, I think they get the second most snow in the state. I think the first most snowy location in the United States is Buffalo, New York, right? Because they're right on the lake and they get all that lake effect snow, which is this really heavy white snow. It's like really, really heavy and wet snow. Tim says Ithaca is gorgeous. Ithaca is cold. I love Ithaca too. Yeah, I spent some time around Ithaca particularly near Cornell University, Ithaca College. It's beautiful up there. Ah, Larry Van D says Destin, Florida's in the Panhandle. Got it, got it. Awesome. Sunshine After Rain is here. Good to see you. Juan Fernandez says it's 68 degrees in Miami, Florida right now. That's actually pretty cold for Miami, not gonna lie. Michael says, what's the best place for pizza in Manhattan? I like Made in New York Pizza. That's on 80th Street on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. It's a really, really good spot. And you don't have to wait in line with all the tourists because it's on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. It's really nice. NAV 407 says, love Cornell and Ithaca. Yeah, I mean, the campus of Cornell is almost like a little bit of a city in and of itself. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar, but if you go to the physical campus of Cornell University, it's massive. It's like its own little town and village in and of itself. It's huge. And let me tell you, if you go to Cornell University, you're definitely going to be getting in a good workout getting around that campus because it's so hilly. You know, if you have to walk all the way across campus, you know, to go to class or something like that, I mean, man, that is a crazy workout, particularly in the winter. I know someone says they have a dairy on campus in Cornell. They have everything. Which I think would make sense, right? Because Cornell, I believe, is famous for their agriculture school, right? So they have a big hotel school, they have an agricultural school. But the hospitality, like the hotel school, is pretty good too. They have a hotel on campus that's operated by the students. Joseph Hardaway is here. What's going on? Good to see you as always.
Do they? Big city, bright lights.
Props Productions says, when I was in New York City, it was 30-40 with flurries. I lost your comment there. I'll get it later. Now, I think this is a significant pickup in foot traffic in compared to yesterday. Seems like there's a lot more tourists out. Now, I did want to notice, or I did want to make a point of one thing. I want everybody to look at KKR, right, the big private equity firm that's publicly traded under the ticker symbol KKR. That has been performing really, really well. Now, that's the one thing I forgot to include in the newsletter, but as we know, two things really have been, you know, in a gridlocked, sort of locked up market, and that has been the public markets for initial public offerings, right? The IPO market has been really, really locked up as interest rates have been going up, but also private equity as well. There hasn't been many deals going around. So with the uptick in the stock price, the performance, or outperformance, I should say, in KKR, that's sort of the market telling us that there's going to be a material change going into 2024. So deal flow and deal activity is probably going to pick up significantly. And that is very, very good for private equity firms as well as, you know, traditional investment banks as well. You know, if you assume that private equity is going to pick up, one could also assume that the public markets will pick up as well in terms of IPOs. across here. And you'll notice the barricades are in the street. They've sort of widened the sidewalks to accommodate all the tourists. Dave's like, Tom, do you have your hat on tonight? I do, and I have my hood on. I have a big puffy winter jacket. I got this really heavy, like down feather jacket. I don't know if it's down feather actually, I have no idea. But anybody heard of the store Uniqlo? Anybody familiar with that brand? I believe it's a Japanese brand, but it's really, really good. They have really good jackets, very heavy. This is St. Patrick's. Ukrainian Royal says, will I be streaming on Christmas Eve / Christmas? Yes. Well, I should be. Usually every year we do. Tatatara. Yeah, I think their clothes are really good. It's very well made, and the prices are quite affordable too, so it's not like super expensive. You know, the big winter jackets that are extremely expensive, I just forgot the name, Canada Goose. I think that's a little bit too ridiculous. It was like $1,000 for just one jacket. You can get a pretty good winter jacket for like $200, $100. I think the Canada Goose is a little bit overkill. I don't know. All right, I think we may start to buffer a little bit. We'll check this out anyway. We only have a couple more days until Christmas to kind of enjoy this light display. So we might as well take advantage of it while it's here. Because then the rest of the year is just going to be frigid, freezing cold. Oh, good timing. We'll check it out. We'll sit here and watch it. let's take a look at the tree and then we'll head out. Wow, there's a lot of people filling up now. We'll probably start to buffer. Well, let's try anyway, might as well. Man, the temperature must have dropped at least 20 degrees from yesterday. You know, it's nights like tonight that really make me miss being in Miami for sure. The tree looks pretty good from here. Hey, Michael's the season's greetings from Iowa. Good to see you, Michael. Pops Productions is talking about Cole Haan shoes. I think that's a really good brand. I wear that brand a lot. Who knows? Maybe it'll snow on Christmas. You never know. Yeah, tons of people here at Rockefeller Center. Hey Cody, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us on this very frigid night in Manhattan. Now tomorrow I have to be pretty much in Brooklyn all day till very, very early. Or I should say from very, very early till very, very late. We're getting the photography done for the Conover. All right, let's cross back over to Madison.
Hang on.
It'll be a little bit further away from all these people. Let's head down to Grand Central Terminal. Yeah, Cody's like, Brooklyn's a great place to spend the day. Yeah, it's a little bit far though, I'm not gonna lie. I think Brooklyn is for, I mean, I love it. I love the project, I love the property that we're selling. It's just a little bit far, you know? But that's what some people like. I mean, some buyers specifically want to be a little bit tucked away from the city to sort of escape all the, the craziness of Manhattan. But it's far. I mean, the trip is, if you're gonna take it from Midtown Manhattan and try to go to Red Hook, Brooklyn, that's over an hour trip. But I do like the town. Red Hook is very nice. We'll walk past 270 Park. We'll actually go in the brand new 270 Park entrance. That'll bring us right into Grand Central Station. Brad's Brain, what's going on? Thank you for joining us. Brad, in the newsletter I sent out earlier tonight, I dedicated a section to the Bitcoin halving that's going to be happening in about 100 days here. And I did a little bit of price analysis, historical price action in and around the halving. Hey, Roscoe Hill, welcome. Go for Hokies says good evening, Tom. Good evening to you. As we're standing right under 270 Park. Right on the corner of East 48th Street. Go for Hokies' great newsletter today. Thank you so much. I'm very, very glad you enjoyed it. Today wasn't actually too cold during the day, but it's freezing out now. Like when I left the office, I think around 9:15 p.m. Wow, I mean, it must have at least dropped like 12 degrees. Because during the day today, it wasn't too bad. I actually remember it feeling kind of warm, but maybe we're getting a cold front coming in for the holidays, who knows? This is going to be the new entrance, I believe, they just opened for 270 Park. That'll provide you direct access into Grand Central Station. Colton's is supposed to warm back up this weekend. That's good. I wish it was like about 6 years ago. It was almost 70 degrees on Christmas Day. That was awesome. Now this is the Roosevelt Hotel. This is one of the largest migrant centers in New York City. All right, we are now at Vanderbilt Avenue. And we're gonna go through, well, we're gonna go under this little enclave here. And that'll bring us inside, I should say back inside Grand Central Terminal. Maybe tonight will be a good night to go all the way down to the brand new East Side Access Project. And that is the Spire, one Vanderbilt. Tom M says 56 degrees on Christmas Day in Youngstown, Ohio. Oh my God, so jealous. Hopefully it gets up into the 50s here in New York City. That'd be great. Now, I was in Miami about 2 weeks ago, and it was actually kind of chilly most days. I mean, for Miami, you know, whenever it gets down into like the 60s, G. Raymond says, Tom, spelling mistake in the latest newsletter, levered instead of leveraged. No, the correct grammar is levered. The correct grammar is levered, not leveraged. I know it's weird, but that's actually correct. Yeah, that was in the piece talking about Russell 2000 companies. That was in the top third of the newsletter, but I know what you're talking about, but it is levered. It's a little weird. Oh yeah, so winter solstice is what, tonight? Or yesterday? And it's the shortest day of the year. $56 degrees now in Florida. Whew, 56 degrees in Miami feels 56 degrees in Miami must feel like colder than it is here now in the summers, right? You know, a summer in South Florida, people say that they can't even live there because it's so crazy, you know, hot and humid, which I personally like, by the way. I'm extremely weird. I would much rather have it, you know, 99 degrees and 100% humidity than 20 degrees out. And I know that sounds disgusting. It's just, I just love the heat and humidity. I love it. Well, Grand Central Station is kind of warm. It's quite nice, decorated beautifully for the holidays. I know, Brian M says, that sounds like my version of hell. Let's do a wrap around here. We'll see if this bakery's open. This is my favorite bakery in Grand Central. Zaro's. It's closed, but this place is really good. particularly for black and white cookies, but they sell out almost every single day. This is a good spot. All right, let's head to the East Side Access Project. That'll be on the 2nd floor. And we're gonna take the longest escalators in New York City. Someone says how much for a bagel? I'm not sure, but you know what? This weekend I'm going to a bagel place I've never been to before. It's called Liberty Bagels. It was recommended to me by one of you guys actually on, I forget what it was called, over email. So the place is called Liberty Bagels. And supposedly that's one of the best spots in the city. My favorite bagel place though is Leo's Bagels, which is closer to downtown Manhattan on Wall Street. Not on Wall Street, off Wall Street, near Hanover Square. The place is fantastic. All right, so this is the main food court. And then down here is the brand new East Side Access Project to the Long Island Railroad. Grand Central Madison, as they call it. Cheese Puffs, does anybody remember H&H Bagels? Yeah, I actually went there not too long ago. There's one in the brand new Moynihan Train Hall. But H&H is a little bit expensive, I think. And the bagels are not that good, in my view. Mach says take it down to Long Beach. I'm sure it's real nice there. No, it's actually not nice at all in the winter. Long Beach, New York is no bueno. This is an awesome shot of Grand Central Station. I mean, of Columbus Circle during the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. This is awesome. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Long Island, New York during the winter. It's just too cold. Too cold for me. Too cold, too dark, too far. But it's very, very difficult to find something better than Long Island, New York during the summer. It's amazing. Particularly South Shore, Oceanside. It's just the summers only last like 2 months in Long Beach and Long Island. I always say, if you think the real estate prices are crazy expensive on Long Island, imagine how crazy expensive they'd be if the weather was beautiful all year round. It would just be insane. If the weather was beautiful, like 75 degrees, kind of like California weather, like in some of the really nice places in California where it's picture perfect every day, like 75 degrees, sunny every day, it would probably turn into like a little bit of a Fisher Island in Miami, where every single house is, you know, 20, 30 million bucks.
Transfer opportunity is available at Jamaica for the Spion train and the air train to JFK Airport.
Hey, Hawaii, what's going on?
302. For your safety, please be careful of the gap between the platform and the
so crazy steep, especially when you're walking down it. That just wasn't moving.
Sorry.
Yeah, Daryl says there's places in and around Chicago, Illinois that are ultra expensive. Yeah, one of my good friends and boss is in Chicago. I think someplace in Chicago has one of the wealthiest zip codes in America. Right. You can actually see people boarding the Long Island Railroad trains.
No estará en el de abajo ya, ¿no?
Ese estaba en el mismo, en ese.
Estaba en el de abajo.
Hey Sam Forrest, what's up? Ah, so this is the Far Rockaway line. It's actually quite busy down here. Every time we come down here, it's usually radio silence. It's usually completely dead. Cheese Puff says it's great that the LIRR stops at Grand Central now. Yeah, we've waited about, a decade or so for it. But I agree. It's very convenient. Definitely a long time coming, for sure. And I'm so surprised that the internet is so good down here too. The internet is better down here underground than it is up top, which is crazy. I don't think we've been down this corridor before. Let's go to here. Dave says Tom seems tired tonight. I'm shot, to be quite honest. And tomorrow is like the busiest day for me. Anyway. Oh, these are the elevators. Got it. Yeah, that's true. Someone says no people, so there's no throttling. Yeah, which is good. Check the logic. Says you make New York City seem safe. It's relatively safe, I would say. I think it's unsafe if you don't have situational awareness and put yourself in bad situations. I'd say then it's not safe. Like if you're taking the subway, weird hours of the night and you're by yourself, I think that's when it's a little bit kind of iffy, but like in Midtown Manhattan, you're really not going to have an issue.
For your children's safety, do not allow them to play on or near the escalator.
Please do not sit on the steps or the handrail. Please watch your step getting on and off. Please be careful while riding the escalator.
Joan K, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you. I appreciate it very much.
Baby strollers, push carts, and pull carts are not permitted on the escalator. For your children's safety, do not allow them to play on or near the escalator.
Please do not sit on the steps or the handrail. Please watch your step getting on and off. Please be careful while riding the escalator. Please face forward while riding this escalator.
Baby strollers, push carts, and pull carts are not permitted on the escalator. For your children, do not allow them to select on or near the escalator.
Do not sit on the steps or the handrail. Please watch your steps getting on and off.
Okay, so this is Lexington Avenue. Got it. Oh, that's the drill that they used to build the tunnels. This is actually kind of cool to look at. Isn't that crazy that this is the drill bit that they use to bore all these tunnels? It's pretty incredible. That's insane. That's really crazy. Oh, and this is the concourse unfinished. Look at that. I wonder what they must find down there, you know? As they're drilling through stuff. Maybe anything cool, who knows? And I'm surprised we can dig that far down without causing like structural issues to all the buildings above. Now, I'm not an engineer, so I don't have any expertise here, but it's kind of crazy, right? Because if you think about Manhattan, it's such a teeny piece of land, but it's Swiss cheese underneath. I mean, it's all just tunnels and subways, and it's wild. Engineering is really crazy. Hey, the Cell Tech, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. This is the escalator that we went down. Ah, I did. Madison 32, yes. It was a big merger. You know, I was reading that during election years, for whatever reason, I don't know why, there's usually a lot of M&A in the energy space, like the energy sector.
Customers heading to Hollis must board the first 4 open cars of the train to exit out Hollis Station. Transfer opportunity is available at Jamaica for the air train to JFK Airport. Now boarding on track.
Yeah, Austin City Limits says the bedrock is key for structures in Manhattan. It's true. That's what kind of freaks me out about San Francisco a little bit. You know, a lot of the super tall buildings there were pretty much just built on kind of like marshland. I think a part of San Francisco is just kind of built on a swamp. And I think that's why they have to keep fixing Salesforce Tower, because it sinks, literally sinks into the ground. I haven't heard about that. Actually, let me read that comment. Arsenal fan 13. Tom, did you hear about the Manhattan Borough president allowing more housing on the island? Mostly in the northern portion. Not allowing or allowing? I don't know, it usually seems like, you know, things get pushed up and out. I mean, I'm seeing tons of new development go up in Harlem. Arsenal fans is allowing more housing, which is good. I mean, they should, right? I mean, I'm not a famous economist or anything, but it's basic laws of supply and demand. If you want to bring prices down, we need to be building more. Which is sort of why I'm happy with Miami right now, because Miami exploded and there was a massive, massive boom of everybody wanting to move down there. So the prices got absolutely ridiculous. But the difference between Miami, particularly in downtown Miami, and New York City, is that Miami is building like crazy, right? Which I think is going to satiate a lot of that demand. And I think prices are going to ease and come down. Because the last thing we want, at least in my view, the last thing we want, or I want, is Miami, Florida to turn into, you know, another New York City where it's almost nearly impossible to live because the cost of living is so crazy. But, you know, last month, for the first month in quite a long time, rents actually came down in Manhattan. And that's something we've been talking about for quite a while, right? Now, I've been telling you guys, I've been seeing the market soften quite materially in Manhattan. So I think rentals will come down, which you're already starting to see. And prices should ease a little bit as well, which is good news, Hey, Jules is here. What's going on? Zozo Bob, that's also a very good point. Miami also has a land problem. It's not like we could go build in the Everglades. It's so true. Yeah, you have the Everglades to the west, and in the east you have the ocean. And then you're not building anything else. It's kind of similar with Manhattan, right? I think that's why Manhattan real estate, well, one of the many reasons why Manhattan real estate is so valuable, because it's so scarce, right? I mean, it's not like you're going to extend Manhattan. Although there was plans to do that. Mosh, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your username right. I'm just going to call you M. But it says, yeah, did you see the plans to extend Manhattan? I did. That would be interesting. That would be really interesting if they did that. I don't know if I would be for or against that. I'm kind of undecided. Because what would that do for, like, I don't know, would that cause any, you know, environmental, like negative environmental effects? I kind of have a feeling it would. You know, over the last 7 years, the state of New York has done a really, really good job at cleaning up the Hudson River and the Bay. You know, in the Bay, you know, near the Statue of Liberty, we're starting to see more and more whale sightings every year, which is good, and that means the water is getting cleaner. So I don't know, if you're gonna extend Manhattan, you're probably gonna displace a lot of wildlife, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, JJ's like, extend Manhattan and the world is your oyster. I think they should paint these too. Yeah, Nix's Manhattan has really solid bedrock, particularly just south of Central Park, Midtown Manhattan. But as you head down to like Chelsea and things like that, near the Flatiron Building and the East Village, not so much. That's why you don't really see huge, big, super tall buildings down there. And then the super tall start again in Lower Manhattan. Yeah, Lance is like, if you extend Manhattan, more walking for Tom. Yeah, that would be, maybe they should extend Manhattan and make it like an enclosed atrium, like a huge temperature controlled atrium. But just a quick announcement for all of those who are joining us right now. Go ahead and check your email, because I just sent out the last edition of the Behind the Street newsletter for 2023. There's a lot of good information in there, and you can see an exclusive video tour of our brand new penthouse listing on 19th Street, very close to the High Line in Manhattan. It's an incredible property. And let me know what you guys think about it. If you want to sign up to receive our newsletter, our free financial newsletter, just go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen, and it'll take you to our latest edition of the Behind the Street newsletter that we just sent out about an hour and a half ago. I think we'll end it here because I have an early start tomorrow. So if you enjoyed the live stream, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. And yet again, if you want to see an exclusive behind the scenes look at the newest penthouse we just listed on 19th Street, go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen and let me know what you think. So Dale, appreciate it. Teresa Diaz, Wendy England, Western Mass Dave, all of our good moderators, Austin City Limits, Walking Minnesota, Hawaii, appreciate it. And everybody, always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look. I'll see you all right back here tomorrow, live from New York City. Take care.